Here are your Days of Our Lives spoilers for Friday, August 29th, 2025. Brady is consumed with his children's troubles this week, and for good reason. Rachel just learned that her mother is in jail for shooting Uncle EJ, and is sure her mother didn't do it. And Tate is still heartbroken over not being able to ever meet his own child. On Friday, Brady is set to get some rather disturbing news. Does he learn that Rachel is the one who shot EJ, and Kristen threw herself on her sword to save their daughter? Will he discover that Marlena already knows the truth, but Kristen wants to spare her child the emotional pain of remembering the truth? Perhaps Steve will come to Brady with some news about Tate and Sophia's baby. Brady hired the investigator to get to the bottom of things. If Steve started looking at Chicago hospitals, he might find there is no record of Sophia Choi ever giving birth in one of them. Whatever news Brady gets makes him realize there are tough times ahead for both of his kids. For now, Tate is just trying to focus on his new job at the Brady pub, the start of his college career, and his renewed relationship with Holly. However, Sophia is determined to come between them, so she now has a job at the pub too. Holly knows what Sophia is up to, so she confronts her former BFF and warns her not to come between her and Tate. Holly also makes sure to show Sophia some public displays of affection so that she gets the message. Sophia hears Holly loud and clear, but she doesn't much care what Holly says or thinks. She and Tate have a special connection now due to her pregnancy, and Sophia plans to take full advantage of it. Little does she know how close Brady is to finding out her big secret, which would ruin her chances with Tate forever. Sophia may want to watch her step. Please note that if you purchase something by clicking on a link within this story, we may receive a small commission of the sale. Alex comes to the office and coolly tells his cousin he was just talking to Sarah, who just so happened to say she misses and loves him. Xander is obviously affected by this news, but quickly moves on to admitting Stephanie's plan to officially make Philip co-CEO has some merit. Alex believes it'd get them all out of harm's way, and also, Xander getting half of something is better than all of nothing. The only other option is undoing the DiMera takeover. Xander will think about it. Over coffee in the square with Marlena, Sarah rants about Kristen not coming forward sooner about shooting EJ. Marlena defends her, much to Sarah's surprise, especially when it comes to her being a mother to Rachel. They move on to discussing Marlena's health issues, with Marlena sharing Susan's diagnosis that involved vampires, and how she's sick in body, mind, and soul. Sarah dismisses Susan's wackiness, but the blood-sucking vampire stuff gives her an idea. Since Marlena was just in Estonia, and there is a higher rate for tick-borne illnesses in the Baltics compared to the rest of Europe, she'd like to test for that. Marlena agrees and then asks about Sarah. She admits she still loves Xander, but she can't go back to the man he's become. She hopes Marlena can help him get to the source of his rage for his sake and their daughters. A visit from Grandma Susan interrupts Johnny and Chanel's plans to celebrate his freedom in their bedroom. As the trio discusses the trial, Susan shares that she never got the vibe that Kristen was the one who shot her dear Elvis. Johnny and Chanel adamantly counter that Kristen confessed, and they need it to be over. Susan backs down and leaves the lovebirds to shake their tail feathers. Out in the hallway, Susan's expression turns grim, and she shivers. Back inside, Johnny gets a call from Salem U, where he applied for a job last year. A professor quit, and they want him as an adjunct for the new semester starting next week. They'll even work around his schedule at Titan DiMera. Chanel encourages him to consider it since it involves his love of film. Susan visits Marlena at the penthouse to apologize for her earlier diagnosis and gets another chill. Terrified, she warns Dr. Marlena Evans that whatever is going on with her has gotten worse. An agitated Marlena isn't interested in her vibrations and slams the door on her. Sarah meets Xander in the square to pick up Victoria. He tries to get her to say what she told Alex, but ultimately has to awkwardly spell it out himself. However, Sarah sees no point in discussing it and leaves with Victoria. At home, Gabby tests out a fountain pen recording device, saying she doesn't need Steve Johnson's help. Not even one iota. Javi enters, and she tries to lure him back as her assistant with the tease of him becoming very rich, very soon. He takes a hard pass because he likes his life right now. They move on to discussing how Gabby's life is right on track. But there is one thing missing. Love, Javi, presses for details, but Gabby will only admit there are two guys, who she didn't think anything of at first. However, there is an emotional connection with one, while the other is the reason she didn't come home last night. Javi is dying for all the juicy scoop, but Gabby remains coy. Later, Gabby brings a report to Xander's office and leaves it on his desk, along with her recording pen. After horseback riding at the Kyriakis estate, Philip laments to Belle about what a perpetual screw-up he is and how he can't hold on to a relationship. Belle cheekily brings up Gabby, but Philip dismisses their night together. Besides, he doesn't trust himself in a relationship right now. He wouldn't want to hurt Gabby, just like he wouldn't want to hurt Belle. She reminds him they're in a good place now, but teases it's not without its judgment. They laugh over old times and share a wistful look that implies something more than friendship. Belle gets Philip to admit that Titan might not be what he wants for his future. But he doesn't know what he wants. She encourages him to discover what matters to him, which might not be his supposed birthright. He thanks her for giving him a lot to think about. Days of our lives Tate may have slept with Sophia and gotten her pregnant. But one thing is for sure. He doesn't want anything more to come from their brief time together. She, of course, may have other ideas that don't sit well with his girlfriend, Holly. In fact, on Friday, the former friends are going to have it out. Soaps. Come recently caught up with Rachel Boyd and discussed what the future holds for the characters, as well as what she would like to see happen. This wouldn't be the first time girls ruined a friendship over a boy. And when asked if one day it might be possible for the two to put the past behind them, "I would really love that," Boyd said, "because I think that there is just such a fine line between love and hate, and you just can only ever be truly, truly hurt by somebody who you love." "I think that was a great dynamic to explore with Ashley Puzemis," she added, "because I think she's so cool and such a nice girl in real life, and I love hanging with her." Boyd also touched base on the dynamic of Sophia and Holly having been friends, and even at their lowest points, there's always the underlying feeling that they love each other. "So, yes," the actress said, doubling down, "I would love to see Sophia and Holly be able to put the past behind them and just move on." When we pointed out how stranger things have happened, like in the case of Sammy and Carrie and their up-and-down sibling rivalry, Boyd agreed and stated, "Yeah, no, that's the thing. Anything can happen in the soap world." Days of Our Lives. Spoilers for Friday, August 29th reveal that Kat Green will play some spy games while Brady Black deals with some alarm bells. Holly Jonas will also have a fierce warning for Sophia Choi. So let's talk about all the day's drama to come. For starters, Gwen von Leuschner will fish for information from E.J. DeMera, but she'll also make time to rip into Leo Stark again. At some point, E.J. will make his way to the hospital, where he'll clash with Kayla Johnson for the umpteenth time. Day's spoilers say Kat will lurk nearby and eavesdrop on that conversation, so she'll keep digging for dirt. E.J. doesn't realize Kat could be responsible for his looming downfall, so she'll try to keep a lid on that as she seeks a new job. Any position that could help Kat and Rafe Hernandez bring E.J. down will be a good thing in her book. Other day's spoilers say Holly will deliver a fierce warning to Sophia. DOOL fans can watch as Holly plants a kiss on Tate Black and warns Sophia that she's not going to steal her boyfriend. Back with Kayla, she'll have an interesting clue for Steve to mull over. Kayla may unknowingly put Steve a step closer to figuring out the truth about Sophia and Tate's baby. Regardless, Brady went to Steve for help getting to the bottom of this shady Sophia situation. Steve will eventually give Brady some troubling news, so that may involve confirmation that this adoption wasn't quite what it seemed to be. Although Melinda Trask has been working hard to cover up the real Tesoro story, that's going to get even harder thanks to Steve's investigation. Steve will do everything in his power to find out the whole truth. Here is your Days of Our Lives recap for Thursday, August 29th, 2025. Johnny and Chanel relaxed in their apartment, relieved that the trial was over. However, their joy was bittersweet. "I just feel so bad for Rachel. Her mom is going to prison," Johnny said. He still wanted things to get back to normal for him and Chanel. Before they could take things into the bedroom, Susan knocked on the door and invaded the newlyweds' fun. Susan made herself at home as Chanel served her coffee and baked goods. "I'm just so happy that my grandson is free from the long arm of the law," Susan said. Susan also told them that she never felt a vibe that Kristen shot her precious Elvis. Susan told Johnny that things weren't adding up. Johnny asked that Susan let the matter go. Kristen confessed, "As sad as Chanel and I are for Rachel, it's over. Or at least, we need it to be," Johnny said. Susan finally decided to leave so Johnny and Chanel could be alone. As soon as Susan walked out the door, she felt a chill. When Johnny and Chanel tried getting romantic again, Johnny received a phone call from someone offering him a job as an adjunct professor at Salem University. Johnny wasn't sure if he was interested in the job. Chanel asked him to consider it. "Professor DeMera has a nice ring to it," she smiled. Marlena and Sarah sat down for coffee in the square, where the Stoll discussed Kristen's arrest and Rachel's well-being. "What kind of person lets their own child and nephew suffer for something that they did?" Sarah asked. Marlena tried to defend Kristen. "In fairness, she did confess, so she ended up doing the right thing in the end," Marlena said. Sarah wasn't impressed. That woman only knows how to put herself first. The more time that goes by and the more she reveals herself as a homicidal maniac, the more I'm convinced that I did the right thing by trying to keep Rachel. "It felt like a huge mistake to give her to Kristen," Sarah lamented. Marlena pointed out that if Sarah had kept Rachel, then she would have been keeping her from Brady. "Is that what you would have wanted?" Marlena asked. Sarah said she wasn't thinking and praised Brady as an amazing father. "I just can't help thinking how much easier Rachel's life would be without Kristen in it," Sarah said. Marlena tried to point out Kristen's maternal side. "She is a wonderful mother to Rachel," Marlena said in Kristen's defense. Sarah was shocked that Marlena seemed to be taking Kristen's side. "If it's any comfort to you, I will do everything I can to make life easier for Rachel," Marlena assured Sarah. She also thanked Sarah for all her help in trying to figure out why Marlena was having strange symptoms. She also couldn't get Susan's words off her mind. "It's her premonitions that bother me," Marlena confessed. "She did say that I was sick in body, mind, and soul, and a statement like that does concern me." Sarah suggested doing one more blood test to rule out a tick-borne illness. Sarah wondered if Marlena could have been bitten by a tick when she was in Estonia. Marlena agreed to the test before asking Sarah how she was doing personally. "I feel like I'm in purgatory. Xander and I aren't together, but I can't move forward," Sarah admitted. "I still love him. I just cannot go back to the man that he's become. I really do hope that you're helping him get to the source of his rage for his sake and for our daughters." When Marlena got home, Susan appeared at her door and quickly got another premonition. "I don't want to upset you again, but I have to warn you, Dr. Evans, that whatever is going on with you, it's gotten even worse," Susan said. Marlena didn't want to hear it, so she slammed the door in Susan's face. Alex walked into Xander's office for a meeting and told him about his encounter with Sarah in Horton Town Square. Xander was annoyed to hear that Alex told Sarah that Xander missed her. "Yes. Oh, miss Sarah, but I don't want her to know that," Xander said. Xander still wanted to know how Sarah responded to that information. Alex said that Sarah missed and loved Xander too. "The two of you really should get together and talk instead," Alex advised. Talk turned to business. Xander said he was considering officially naming Philip as co-CEO. Alex thought that was a good idea because they could save the company that way. Alex felt that even if the truth about the letter came out, they could explain that if Victor knew that Philip would have recovered, he would have left part of Titan to him. Alex told Xander that Plan B would be undoing the entire DeMera takeover. "You'd be done with Philip and the DeMeras once and for all," Alex pointed out. Xander refused, so Alex went back to the first plan and suggested solidifying Philip's position at Titan. Later, Xander ran into Sarah and Victoria in the square and told Sarah that he knew Sarah had asked Alex about him. Sarah didn't deny what she told Alex, but didn't see the point in the conversation. In the Hernandez kitchen, Gabby spoke into a pen and recorded herself saying, "You don't need Steve Johnson's help one iota." Javi walked in and asked who she was talking to, so Gabby told him she was just talking to herself. You only talk to yourself when things are about to hit the fan. Are things about to blow up at work? Javi asked. Gab told Javi another assistant had quit and offered him his old job back. Javi just laughed in Gabby's face. What if I told you that you could be very, very rich? In a few short months. Would that change your mind? Gabby wanted to know. Javi questioned how this would happen, but Gabby refused to give him specifics. But it's very possible I will be in a very different position at work soon, she said, before begging Javi to consider her offer. Hard pass, Javi told her. I really like the life that I've built. I like being a firefighter, and I like coming home to Leo feeling good about what I do, Javi admitted. Talk then turned to Gabby's love life. She admitted she was lonely and wanted someone in her life. Javi wondered if Gabby had someone in her life, so Gabby admitted there were 2 men she felt a connection with, but she never meant for any feelings to turn real. She didn't tell Javi who these 2 men were. Later, when Gabby got to work, she left the recording pen on Xander's desk and was quite proud of herself for doing so. In the Kyriakis living room, Belle and Philip recovered from horseback riding during their day off from work. Belle had a great time, but Philip admitted he was out of practice. Philip felt he was also out of practice with life. He lamented all the mistakes he's made, but Belle felt that Philip was being too hard on himself. Philip continued his pity party. I still have a lot of emotional baggage to work out, like the fact that I'm pathologically jealous of everyone and everything. There's no wonder I could never handle being in a relationship, Philip said. Belle questioned his new relationship with Gabby. Philip insisted that what Belle saw earlier was far from a relationship. It was 2 consenting adults enjoying each other's company. Belle wasn't sure if she bought that explanation. Philip also confessed that he didn't trust himself to be in a relationship at the moment. I wouldn't want to hurt Gabby, he said. Belle, Olivia, and Philip spoke of their own relationship. They were happy to be in a good place as friends after hurting one another. Relationships are more trouble than they're worth, which is why I'm swearing them off now that EJ and I are through, Belle declared. What's EJ up to now? Days of Our Lives spoilers photos for the August 29, 2025 episode tease EJ's latest scheme. EJ takes his business to Salem University Hospital, but someone's listening. EJ chats with Gwen. What will Kat overhear as EJ and Kayla talk? Kayla gets double the die. When she also talked to Chad and Days of Our Lives, spoilers for the week of September 1st suggest some twists and curveballs. Fans can expect Steve Johnson to snoop into Sophia Choi's adoption. Meanwhile, Kat Green and Gwen Rizchek von Leuschner will do some more bonding. Keep reading, and let's discuss what is coming up next week in the Peacock soap opera. Let's start off with Steve, who has been talked to by Brady Black about the adoption situation. The Black Patch boss man will agree to take the case. He agrees with Brady that something feels very off about this adoption story. Interestingly enough, Kayla Johnson introduced Steve to Sophia already. So, Steve will have an excuse to make small chat with her and maybe pick up some clues. Speaking of Sophia, she's obsessed with making Tate Black her own. However, Ari Horton will try to urge Sophia to let her fixation on Tate go. Unfortunately, it seems Sophia will just intensify her efforts. In a sizzling summer promo released a few months ago, Sophia was taking pictures of a passed-out Holly. Sophia also lowered the strap on Holly's top to make the photos more scandalous. Hello, Jan Spears 2.0. Days of Our Lives, spoilers for the week of September 1st suggest that EJ DiMera will have a big decision to make. Will EJ give Kat the job she's asking for? Fans can also expect Kat to continue bonding with Gwen. While Kat was a bit unnerved by the woman, Gwen seems to be pushing a connection. So, it will be interesting to see where this goes. How will Kat's new friendship affect her dynamic with Chad DiMera? Even though Kristen DiMera confessed to shooting EJ, Rachel Black is bound to remember some time. There is also Marlena Evans, who will try to help Rachel process everything that's happened. Meanwhile, Doc has her own issues. The Queen of the Night dreams will continue, seemingly haunting her. Her health issues also continue, and another incident lands Marlena in the hospital. So, what exactly is Susan Banks sensing? Could it be a physical medical illness she's sensing rather than a spiritual battle? Which storyline are you looking forward to seeing the most during the week of September 1st, 2025? Share your thoughts in the comment section below. Keep watching the soap on Peacock to find out what happens next. Days of Our Lives. Spoilers for Thursday, August 28th suggest some major moments in Salem. Two exes may feel the pull toward a reunion, plus a romantic night is derailed, and someone turns to a friend for a vent session. What's set to go down on Thursday? Time to find out. Belle Black and Philip Kiriakis pull Days of Our Lives. Spoilers for Thursday, August 28th hint that Belle Black and Philip Kiriakis may feel the tug of a reunion as they continue to bond. The two friends played hooky during the Tuesday, August 26th show and will continue to grow close. But will they grow so close they end up in a romantic reunion? This may not make Gabby Hernandez so happy as she and Philip did the deed during Tuesday's show. Still, her involvement with Philip is purely physical, so there's that. Speaking of Gabby, she'll take control of a situation. Across town, Chanel DiMera and Johnny DiMera will come together for a night of romance, only for it to get derailed. The two have been through a lot during Johnny's trial and will be ready to celebrate that it's over. Unfortunately, someone will have other plans. Will their entire evening be a scrap? Days of Our Lives. Spoilers for Thursday reveal that Sarah Horton Kiriakis will vent to Marlena Evans. But what exactly is she venting about? Will she be upset about Kristen DiMera coming forward to shoot EJ DiMera? Could Sarah vent about Sophia Choi's lie? Then again, is this vent session centered on Sarah's ex, Xander Kiriakis, and his anger management issues? Speaking of, Xander will have some words of wisdom for Alex Kiriakis. What's this all about? What are you looking forward to most during Thursday's show? Comment below. Watch your favorite Peacock soap daily, and check out SOS often for the best Days of Our Lives spoilers, news, and updates. Fall brings more heat to Salem than the summer did. Days of Our Lives is getting fans ready for a fall filled with twists and turns as the show prepares for a milestone moment. In November, the Peacock soap celebrates its 60th anniversary. Head writers Paula Quickly and John Marie Ford gave Days fans a look at what to expect for the big anniversary and all the drama leading up to it. Speaking with TV Insider, the writers admitted they are pulling out all the stops for the anniversary. The special episode will focus on a gala that honors the legacy of Tom Horton. Many familiar faces will return for the big event, including Mike, Jennifer, Jack, Lucas, Sammy, Will, Marie, Steve, Eli, Lonnie, Eric, Paul, and Andrew. The writers wanted to honor the core families in Salem to celebrate the 60th anniversary and kick off the new seasons following the Peacock soap's renewal. Days' anniversary won't just be about the gala. EJ uses his clout as the new hospital owner to conduct some mysterious experiments in his personal lab. Thanksgiving-lesh family feels with a healthy dose of Halloween mayhem thrown in for good measure. Quickly and Ford teased to the outlet. The fallout of Rachel shooting EJ and Kristen's cover-up will be front and center. Before fall is over, Rachel once again lashes out in a way that puts her life in jeopardy. Marlena won't just be dealing with the truth about Rachel. The good doc's health crisis takes a shocking turn. DiMera drama erupts when Chad can't fight his feelings for Kat as she sets her sights on EJ. Fans know her interest in EJ is Isa-related, but Chad and EJ don't know that, leading to another epic brother fight. Meanwhile, Tony moves forward with his plan to get DiMera Enterprises back. However, his quests put the entire family in grave danger. Brady inches closer to learning the truth about Sophia and Tate's baby. The closer Brady gets, the more Sophia is pushed to the brink. The co-head writers also teased that secrets come out on a night when Salem is left in the dark. So much is happening on Days this fall, who's ready? Brady makes a discovery. Days of Our Lives spoilers for Friday, August 29th. Allow Holly to confront Sophia about what's been going on, while Kat goes out of her way to make sure EJ stays in the dark. Sophia has decided that she wants Tate. We're not exactly sure why. Heck, we're not even sure why Holly wants him. And we're really confused as to why, if she does want Tate, Sophia didn't change her mind and decide to keep the baby. which would have been a way to keep the two of them tethered to each other forever. Holly claims she knows all this. She told Sarah as much. But just in case Sophia doesn't know that Holly knows, Holly decides to fill her in. Not particularly nicely. Now that Marlena has decided to pause her medical practice for the time being, Kat supposedly needs a new job. We know she already has one with Rafe, working to bring down the Damaras. But the Damaras don't know that, which is why it makes perfect sense that Kat would turn to EJ, asking for employment, with no other underhanded motives at all. We're all for Gwen blasting Leo. He did a terrible thing, and she should never forgive him. But he knows how she feels. She knows that he knows how she feels. And now that Javi knows the whole, sordid story, what's left to discuss? Sure, we suppose Gwen can now rag Leo about spilling to Javi about Johnny's not guilty verdict. But to what end? Brady is suspicious about Sophia's adoption story, especially when he cannot pry the truth out of Sarah. She has moral principles or something, so Brady asks Tate for the name of Sophia's adoption attorney. His research turns up even more concerning information. Who will stay standing? On the August 28th episode of Days of Our Lives, Gabby told Javi she was hoping for a relationship with a mysterious someone, while Belle and Philip decided to continue being friends, with potential benefits down the line. Are we seeing the beginning of a red-hot Salem triangle? Why this could work? When it comes to triangles, Belle is no novice. She was part of one with Sean and Philip for years. We were kind of hoping she'd end up in one with EJ and Sammy, but that doesn't seem to be in the cards for the near future. On the surface, it would seem that, should it come down to a showdown between Belle and Gabby over Philip, Belle will fall into her usual good girl role, while Gabby takes her bad girl position. But what if we mixed it up a bit? What if Belle digs deep and unearths her inner bad girl? Now we have a party. On the other hand, Gabby has pulled a lot of schemes and tricks, and it's never worked out for her. So what if she decides, this time around, she'll take the high road? If Philip wants her, fine. If not, not. Let Belle be the one to lie and manipulate. Gabby will just sit back and come out smelling like a rose. Of course, both women have other options. Gabby told Javi there was another potential man in the picture. Survey says, Xander. Sure, she's working to bring him down along with Titan Damara. But hey, nobody is perfect. As for Belle, as well said, EJ all the way. So could this triangle be over before it's even begun? And why is Xander suddenly everyone's favorite? Days of Our Lives spoilers for Thursday, August 28th, push Belle and Philip towards becoming more than friends. Again, while Chanel and Johnny try to reconnect as husband and wife. Belle walked in on Gabby, leaving Philip's room, and quickly figured out what had happened. Belle told Philip she didn't care. She was there to talk about business, but Philip still turned the conversation over to personal stuff, like Belle's breakup with EJ. He promised to support her through it. She promised to let him. Is this a setup for another Felly reunion? Is there any reason to think it would go any better this time than all the previous times? Chanel and Johnny have been so stressed lately, what with him being on trial for murder. They haven't had any quality time together. Now they finally have the chance. Except they get interrupted. Let's just hope it's not another murder charge. Gabby hired Steve to help her bring down Titan, where Steve's version of impressive detective work was, asking Andrew to do it for him. But then Stephanie asked her Papa not to, and Steve folded. Who cares about integrity when your little girl wants to cover up a crime? Now Gabby has to dig up dirt on Xander and Philip all by herself, which she is happy to do. Now, while Alex gives his cousin some pointers, Sarah complains to Marlena about her soon-to-be ex-husband, whom she totally no longer loves. For sure, really. She means it. Xander is so popular, and he doesn't even know it. Robert Scott Wilson teased what it might be like if his two characters ever came face-to-face Days of Our Lives. Robert Scott Wilson has worn two very different hats in Salem. From his breakout role as reformed killer Ben Weston to his more recent turn as the unpredictable Alex Kyriakis, Wilson has shown his range. With Ben off the canvas since 2022 and Alex stirring up plenty of drama, the actor recently opened up about whether Ben might ever return and how he feels about the idea of juggling both roles at once. Wilson sat down with Soaps.com and confirmed that there were no plans for Ben to be part of the recent story that brought Sierra back to town. There was nothing, he said, explaining that Ben was written as staying home while Sierra came back to support her family. He joked that while Kiera was uniting the family in the aftermath of John's death, Ben was at home in their bed. Even so, the actor acknowledged that the door is never fully closed in Soaps, and the absence of Ben hasn't stopped fans from wondering what it might be like if he returned to Salem, especially since his portrayer is already busy in the same fictional town as Alex. When asked if he'd like to see Ben and Alex interact, Wilson lit up at the thought. "I would love for that to happen in terms of Ben truly meeting Alex," he shared. He further explained that the moment could be both powerful and funny, depending on how it played out. "We know he could totally make viewers believe he was each character. Actors handling double duty is nothing new in daytime, and Wilson is aware he'd be stepping into a long tradition." Referencing Wally Kurth's dual soap commitments and Theo Penglis's past double act, he admitted the challenge appeals to him. "You know, I think the opportunity to just play 2 roles at the same time would be great," Wilson said, though he joked that his sleep schedule might pay the price.